The first feature we're going to look at is the post-orbital bar, or post-orbital enclosure. This is a fancy way of saying, is the area behind the eye closed off with a plate of bone, like in this chimp? Or is it relatively open at the back, with the frontal bones and cheekbones at the side of the eye only forming a bar, like in this lemur? In both primate species, the eyes face relatively forward, but this is extreme in primates more closely related to the chimp. One theory for this is that primate species which are diurnal or active during the day are more reliant on good binocular vision, where there is plenty of overlap between the left and right eye vision, allowing them to have better depth perception. This can be useful when navigating complex areas like a forest. The second feature we can look at is the toothcomb, which is found in species which use their lower front teeth for grooming. As a result, their lower front teeth, or incisors, are elongated and look like a hair comb. In the other primates that don't have a tooth comb, the lower front teeth look very much like yours. The third feature is a mandibular symphysis. The mandibular symphysis is where the left and right halves of the mandible, or jawbone, are connected. In many mammalian species, and some primate species, the mandible is unfused or not fully fused, so you can see a separation or a suture between these bones. But in some primates, like us, the mandible is fully fused and you can't see a separation. The fourth feature we will look at is prognathism. Here you ask, does the face below the eyes jut out, or is the face relatively flat? A flatter face implies less reliance in the sense of smell, leading to reduced snouts. This is called orthognathism. The opposite, the faces jut out, is called prognathism. Faces can be prognathic due to more reliance in smell, and also due to large teeth or big chewing muscles. The fifth feature is the dental formula. The dental formula is a way of describing the numbers and kinds of teeth in the mouth of a given species. To get to it, you divide the mouth into half, the top maxillary half and the lower mandibular half. You then divide that into left and right, because the left and right will generally have the same numbers of teeth. You only need to use one half. Here, we use the left side of this mandible, my right, to say that we have 2 incisors, flat front teeth, 1 canine, 2 premolars, smaller teeth behind the canine, and 3 molars, large back teeth. The dental formula is therefore 2, 1, 2, 3. The sixth feature is a tympanic ring or tube. On the side of the head, on the tympanic part of the temporal bone, which is the bone that encloses the middle ear, there is a ring-like fused piece of bone in primates. If we follow that hole of the ear to the underside of the skull, in some primates, it will show the underbelly of a tube-like structure. Now we can look at the teeth. The molars, or large hind teeth, have cusps and grooves, like hills and valleys, which form a shape. On the mandible, some primates, like this macaque, have 4 cusps in a parallel line to one another, which is called Bilophodont. And some, like this chimp, have a 5th cusp, which forms the shape of a Y in its groove, a Y5 pattern. Another really interesting thing about primates is the canine size. Some primates have relatively large canines which stick out dramatically. We, on the other hand, don't. Ours are pretty much in line with our other teeth. However, contrary to popular belief, large canines in primates isn't the result of meat eating, since large canines can be seen in primates which eat little to no meat, like the gelada or gorilla. Instead, scientists believe that large canines evolved as a form of social display, particularly among males, and is most prominent in species with high sexual dimorphism, or differences among the sexes. Human males do not tend to compete or show dominance by baring their teeth at one another, which is perhaps a good thing. We can take this further by hypothesizing that perhaps one reason humans have such small canines is because our increasingly egalitarian social structures over evolutionary time. Cranial capacity here refers to overall brain size, but in this context, be mindful also about the size of the primate. When looking at the size of the brain, don't just say whether it is large or small, but larger or smaller than expected given the overall size of the primate. This can be hard to tell from photos, so refer to your lectures to get a sense of body size in the primate groups you are investigating. The shape of the dental arcade refers to the shape of the bottom jaw, or mandible. If we look at the shape of the mandible, is it U-shaped, where the molars on the left are largely parallel to the molars on the right, or is it more V-shaped, or parabolic? Finally, we look to the Foramen Magnum. This refers to the hole at the base of the skull, which forms the entrance, through which the spinal cord attaches to the brain. Foramen means hole, magnum means big, so big hole. In quadrupedal primates, the hole is more to the back of the head, or posterior, since they move about with the head in front of their bodies. In humans, the hole is more forward-facing, anterior, situated at the base of the skull. This allows the head to balance perfectly over the neck during bipedal locomotion, i.e., on two legs.